So can you tell me a little bit about the background to the Destinies project that we both co-produced and collaborated on, and what, from your perspective, you were hoping to achieve with it?
Yeah, so Destinies is an amazing project, actually, that ended up spanning like 2 years, which it was never really intended to be that way when we started out. But the first sessions were back in October 19, and it was designed as a music theatre piece where we would work with a group of young people in partnership with Derbyshire Virtual School and a theatre company, Ava Hunt Theatre, to look at making a new piece which kind of told the story of a journey. And it was quite open when we started that. Ava Hunt Theatre had done some work previously with some asylum seekers and was quite keen to kind of look at how we worked with that, working with some young people. But we didn't want to be really prescriptive at all. So we kind of, brought the team together for these sessions where, as I say, we wanted to start thinking about a journey, but didn't know quite where that was going to be. So the programme involved working with care experienced young people, which also included unaccompanied asylum seeking children from across the world who were housed in Derbyshire. And across the 2-year programme, we worked with like 26 young people. Some just did like a one-off session, and others were involved right from the start, right till the end. So it was quite an interesting dynamic in that way, because it wasn't always the same people every time. There was a consistent group, but we did have people dropping in and out. And I think actually that approach that we had, where we welcomed everyone's contribution for as long or a short amount of time that they were with us, kind of really showcases what the project was about. It was about celebrating who was in the room at that moment. So it had originally been devised as a piece that was going to end. We'd kind of have some creative sessions, and then we'd end up with this music theatre piece, which we would do a live performance of. And I guess we were thinking, as part of that, that we would obviously bring the orchestra together with the young people, and that we were going to have a tour and we were going to take it around primary schools. The idea being about sort of breaking down barriers, sort of just building understanding about different people's journeys, and kind of, I guess, building a sense of compassion for people within their communities. We didn't end up doing that because of COVID, obviously got in the way. So it took a different course, but actually it was just very interesting how that kind of the different approach ended up working. So yeah, it changed from having a performance outcome to becoming much more an online project, and then we had a kind of mixed in-person and digital sharing. So we created this film, which is beautiful, actually, really gorgeous. And I guess in terms of like the young people that were involved, lots of the young people had only recently arrived in the UK. Well, there's quite a mixture. So everyone's language was at different points of development. We didn't have a shared language as such within the group. So that was definitely a challenge, but also really interesting to look at how music can work in that setting. And actually, we were really lucky on the musician team to have an Arabic speaker, which really helped kind of forge some of those connections where, otherwise we wouldn't have had that. So that was kind of an interesting dynamic. And I guess also the theme being something about a journey, we were very aware as a team that could have been very difficult for some of the young people. And so the team were really sensitive when we were talking about journeys, and sort of actually it was really interesting that people were able to share their own journey or the journeys of others that they've met along the way, but they could do it through creative writing and songwriting. So it was just that little bit slight step removed from it. So it wasn't like sort of standing up and saying, this is my story, although there were some aspects of that. It didn't have to be quite as bold as that. But it felt like the young people that we worked with were able to explore some of those things and share some of those things, but in a way, in a kind of safe environment, in a way that they seemingly felt protected to do that. But that was quite an interesting part of the program, and something which the team were very mindful of, I think, throughout.